Welcome to the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green. This podcast is a safe place for us to have weekly discussions about mental health, Christ, personal development, and the tools to live our best lives. Please stay tuned for a new episode. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Mentally Whole podcast. I am your host, Lauren Green. I hope you guys are having a great and wonderful week because I am, right? Okay, so don't forget our housekeeping announcements. Remember to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast. And if you haven't listened to episode 3, go back and listen and hit that play button. So for today's review, I wanted to discuss a great event called the Poets in Autumn Tour. So the Poets in Autumn Tour is a Christian poetry event. They have it every year in the fall, and they have artists like Genetics, Joseph Solomon, Chris Webb, Preston and Jackie Hill Perry, and I think the last guy's name is Ezekiel, but I can't say his last name. But it was a wonderful event. I was so inspired to be around other millennials who are walking in their purpose, millennials who are just doing it, honestly, right? And their poems were amazing. The level of production in their videos were also inspiring to me, because I'm like, this is amazing. Like, y'all just put on a whole legit show, right? So if the tour stops in your city, please go to the Poets in Autumn Tour. If you just Google Poets in Autumn, it should come up. It is a really great tour. Even if you're not Christian, the show is great. So let's get into our topic of the day. Our topic of the day is boundaries in the helping profession. So this is part 2 of our B is for Boundaries series. This was a requested topic because one of my Facebook friends asked about how to set boundaries as a natural helper and how to set boundaries to avoid burnout. So I looked up a list of helping professions, and I'm going to actually read them to you. So some of the helping professions include clinical mental health counseling, which that is the field that I'm in, criminal justice, so like law. Another helping profession is public health. So if you're in the public health field, you work with individuals, populations and communities to increase the quality of life. You know, people in the public health field may provide education on prevention and treatment of illnesses within the community or health setting. And the last but not least, the last one is social work. So social workers help people solve and cope problems with everyday lives. Clinical social workers also diagnose and treat mental, behavioral, and emotional issues. So there's a lot of helping professions out there right now. And when a person is a natural helper, we can get really caught up in helping everyone that we neglect ourselves, right? So since I am in the clinical mental health field, the American Counseling Association has a code of ethics, and I wanted to read you like a little snippet of what the ethics say about impairment. So it says, counselors monitor themselves for signs of impairment from their own physical, mental, or emotional problems and refrain from offering or providing professional services when impaired. They seek assistance for problems that reach the level of professional impairment, and if necessary, they limit, suspend, or terminate their professional responsibilities until it is determined that they may safely resume their work. If a person is impaired, they are no good to anyone. And in this little snippet from the Code of Ethics, it makes it clear that when you become overwhelmed with your own physical, mental, or emotional problems, you should not be providing professional services. If you're having trouble with managing, your own stuff outside of work, it can bleed over into your professional services. When you are a natural helper or just in the helping profession in general, you must have boundaries set. The prescription for burnout is self-care and boundaries, right? And I think as natural helpers, sometimes we forget that before we chose our career path, before we decided in college what we wanted to be, before we accepted that job or went on that interview, that we are humans first. We are humans who have dreams, goals, and aspirations. Right? Before we chose what we are doing now, we were humans. We have needs and we have wants and we have desires. Amen? So, it's cliche, but you cannot pour from an empty cup. Right? It's no point to keep pouring out to people when your tank is empty. You have nothing to give when your cup is empty. You have to continuously, every day, pour into yourself. Because when you become too busy with work, when you become too busy with everything else in your life, you will neglect yourself, and that is an issue. Not taking care of yourself causes illness, causes stress, causes anxiety, causes depression. Right? So I thought of 8 different things that you can do to help set boundaries in the helping profession. Now, these 8 things are not in any type of order. I just wrote them down really fast. So the first thing is seek support. Either it be professional support like therapy, or seek support from your coworkers or supervisors, because oftentimes I find that when I talk to my coworkers, they give me tips and ideas of what they are doing to manage their time effectively. Like, for example, I learned from my coworkers that sometimes it is okay to call my clients' parents in session, right? Because sometimes outside of sessions or when I'm done at my school, I have to run to the clinic to do something. And sometimes I don't have time in my schedule to just call people. So calling people in session has been helpful for me. And also seeking support like a therapist is also great, because you get to meet with someone who doesn't know you or doesn't know, who just doesn't know you and who won't judge you. Number 2, know your limits. Know your limits. Becoming more aware of what you need and what you want can help you know your limits and set boundaries. Right? So, for example, if you have children and you need to get off by a certain time, you need to know that that's a limit that you want to set. Or if, every week you work out a certain amount of time, you know that you need to get off of work by a certain time to go to the gym, right? That's a new boundary that you will set. So knowing your limits is very important. And just like we talked about in episode 3, your boundaries are influenced by your values, right? Your boundaries are influenced by your values. So knowing what you value will help you know what your limits are. Third thing, this goes with number 2. So enforce your limits. There's no point for you to make these boundaries in your mind, write them down, tell them to your friends if you're not going to enforce them, right? Your boundaries need to be enforced every time something comes up about them. They need to be enforced, right? Because if you don't enforce them, people are going to think people are just going to be like, okay, well, we're not setting their boundaries, so I can do whatever, right? So please enforce your limits, people. Enforce them. Enforce your boundaries. So number 4 is get enough sleep, right? To avoid burnout and to really take care of yourself, get enough sleep. Because when you're not sleeping, your body does not have the time to recharge. If you're not getting enough sleep, your body is not taking that necessary time to heal itself. Because when you sleep, your body is rejuvenating, your body is working on itself, your body is repairing. So please get enough sleep. The 5th thing is exercise. Exercise has been proven to be a stress reliever. Exercise has been proven to be good on your body. It helps your body stay fit and in shape. So exercise. And exercise is a way to just get stuff out of your head. You're just working out and you're not really focused on anything major, but you're just getting it all out physically. Number 6, do the things that you love. Right? I think when we get overwhelmed with work and our other responsibilities, sometimes we neglect the things that we love. Right? So watch that TV show you want to watch. Crochet or journal, make a craft, do arts and crafts, color, draw, watch a movie, hang out with your friends, do what you love. Because when you do what you love, it keeps your mind fresh. It keeps you're able to reset, you're able to recharge, you're able to not be so bogged down by work and responsibilities. You are doing something that you love, and it'll make you a better clinician. It'll make you a better helping professional when you do what you love. Take up a new hobby. You never know, that hobby could be used in your therapy sessions. The hobby could be used when you're talking to a client, when you're trying to make a connection with them. Do things that you love. Number 7, get off of social media. Sometimes social media can be an information overload, because as soon as you click on to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever social media you use, it's an instant information download. And there's always 5,000 perspectives on any social media, right? So it's good to just detox. It's good to detox from social media. Set a limit on your phone, or just take a whole day where you're off social media. Just get off of social media. And also, social media will cause you to compare yourself to other people. And that's not good either. That can also cause stress in your life. So sometimes just get off, take a break from social media. So the last one is create. So number 8 is have a regular daily, weekly, and monthly self-care routine. So it is important to incorporate self-care in every facet of our lives. So for me, I've been creating a weekly schedule, which I have to do sometime today. And it has been helpful with getting the things done that I need to get done. So some things on your self-care routine you'll do every day. There are some things you'll do weekly and some things you'll do monthly. So example of daily things that you could do on your self-care routine is prayer, journaling, watching your favorite movie. Something that you could do daily is your skincare routine. That is a form of self-care. Brushing your teeth, taking showers, hygiene, all of that is daily self-care. Weekly things to put on your self-care routine is maybe exercising, because you do that on a weekly basis, right? So exercising, fellowshipping with your church. You could hang out with friends. You could, what else you could do on a weekly basis? Let me think. Take a class. that you've never taken before. There's a lot of things you can do that you incorporate on a weekly self-care routine, and monthly things that you could do on your self-care routine is travel somewhere, get a massage. Also hanging out with your friends can also be monthly, because I know in this day and time we are busy doing things. So hanging out with your friends, travel. Oh, and using your time off, because a lot of times in the helping profession you will have a benefits package with time off. So use your time off. Okay, sometimes you just need a day to yourself and get your life together. Okay, use that benefits package. That's a part of monthly self-care, to use your benefit package. Okay, so for our weekly wrap up I want you guys to review these 8 tips that I gave you and really figure out how you can incorporate them in your daily life. I would love to hear you guys' responses on the weekly wrap up. You can email them to me, or you can message me on my social media. So this is the end of the episode, and have a great day.